Am I the jerk for telling my friend that she isn't traumatized from somebody else's proposal? I, a 20-year-old female, have had 3 close friends in college. Grace, a 21-year-old female, Matt, a 21-year-old male, and Laura, a 21-year-old female. Laura really likes using mental health terminology. She explores a lot of labels from therapist influencers online. She was told that she has an anxiety disorder and depression, but that's the only diagnosis she's been given so far. Recently, she's been exploring autism and ADHD. Matt wanted to propose to Grace. They have been dating for a while. He's been planning the proposal for a couple of weeks. While the proposal was very intimate between the two of them, I was very involved in scheduling the after-proposal event at a restaurant. It was lovely, and Grace and Matt seemed really happy. Laura told us that she didn't want to be involved in planning the proposal because it reminded her of her parents' divorce. She said that she might come to the post-engagement party. On the day of the engagement, both Matt and I forgot to check in on Laura. I don't think it's Matt's fault because he was occupied with far more important things, but I feel a bit guilty about not reminding her. She ended up not coming to the party. The next day, she started posting online about how it was traumatizing to see how little her friends cared about her and that she would be updating her followers on her trauma therapy journey. She posted that she is now in a really dark place and thinks she has PTSD. For context, I am pretty sensitive to mentions of trauma and PTSD because I was diagnosed with PTSD by a psychologist in my last year of high school after something that happened in my first year. I felt a lot of guilt and shame around this because I spent a lot of time feeling that the thing that happened wasn't bad enough to count. I sometimes still get nightmares and flashbacks, but it's gotten better after therapy. It bothers me a lot when people seem to throw the terms around without understanding their weight, but I also acknowledge that I can't stop the internet from doing its thing. I haven't told any of my college friends about this, so Laura doesn't know. At one point, she called me and started explaining how traumatized she was, and I finally snapped and said, "You're not traumatized. Stop being dramatic. You just got exactly what you asked for." Now I feel guilty because I feel like I was a little harsh, and she's posting online, without my name, that one friend she thought she could rely on to support her is abusive and doesn't understand how being traumatized works. However, I feel like Laura is being very dramatic about an event that's not about her. I called my mom to see what her opinion is, and she told me that I could have reminded Laura about the party, and while my point is not necessarily wrong, I could have been more sensitive. So now I'm not sure how wrong I am. Laura was informed about the party in advance, said she might come, and then just forgot. That's on her. This is a friend who seems to require way too much attention for minor things, making everyone miserable. Do not apologize and re-examine what kind of friendship you want. I think you are not in the wrong here. This person is clearly stirring up their own drama. Am I the jerk for refusing to financially support my sibling because they chose to become a single parent? I, a 32-year-old man, have a sister, Emily, who is 34 years old. She has always wanted to be a mother but hasn't been able to find the right partner. After years of waiting, I suggested she consider IVF treatment. I even helped her research the process and find clinics. She loved the idea and decided to go ahead with it. Emily had the financial means to afford IVF on her own, but it meant she had to cut back on creature comforts and luxuries for the foreseeable future. 2 months ago, after her 4th round of treatment, she got pregnant. The whole family is very happy for her, and she's happy too. She didn't expect it to take so many rounds of treatment though, so the bill ended up higher than she was prepared for. She does have enough money to support herself, but not very comfortably. She asked our family for help so she wouldn't have to make even more sacrifices. Our parents are retired and living on a fixed income, so they can't contribute much. This leaves me as her main source of potential financial support. Last week, Emily sat me down and asked me for money. I have no issue with people choosing to be single parents if they can afford it, but I don't believe it's fair to ask others to finance such a personal choice, especially when there are significant long-term financial commitments involved. I have a wife and a newborn son. While we do have some extra money, we're using it to keep our own little family comfortable and save for a bigger house. We currently live in a single-bedroom condo. I told Emily that I wouldn't be able to help her foot the bill. Emily was heartbroken and furious. She argued that family is supposed to support each other and that I'm being selfish and judgmental. Our parents are also upset with me, saying that I'm not being a good brother. They think I should help her because she's family, and this is her dream. They're especially upset because it was my idea, and I helped her research it. I offered to help Emily by letting her eat dinner with us nightly, since she lives nearby, and by letting her use my car, which is cheaper to run since it's electric. She said that's not nearly enough. I have my own family to think about and financial goals to achieve. I feel it's unreasonable to put myself in a difficult financial position for something that is Emily's personal choice, even if I initially suggested it. So, am I the asshole for not supporting her financially? My sister is a homeowner with a bigger house than mine, making more money than I do. She can absolutely afford a child. She took from savings to pay for the 4th round of IVF and is rebuilding it as fast as possible by not spending. It isn't like she didn't budget. She just doesn't like being frugal. She also did take me up on the offer to temporarily trade cars and eat dinner with my family nightly. IVF was not my first suggestion. She wouldn't adopt because she wants a biological child. She did not use a donor because she wanted PZT done to ensure she'd have a boy. Your actions were justified. It's not your fault that she went through 4 rounds of IVF. She should have stopped when she couldn't afford it anymore. She was irresponsible, and it's not like she's about to be homeless. She can move in with her parents and make cuts. If she can't handle this level of responsibility now, how is she going to handle real parenthood? Am I the jerk for refusing to wear a bracelet my husband paid for that I didn't want? I, a 29-year-old female, wanted to buy a bracelet for myself because I finally had a job after searching for a long time and wanted to treat myself. My husband, a 35-year-old male, suggested I buy it from his parents because they run a jewelry store and they'd offer me a good deal. That had been my plan anyway, so when we visited them, I went by their store and had a look at what they had in stock. I decided on a piece but didn't take it right away, as I needed to withdraw some cash. A few days later, I overheard my husband talking to his mother about me, but couldn't hear what it was about. I asked my husband later what they were discussing about me, and he said, nothing, but I got the feeling he felt caught out. Then he said they were talking about the bracelet I wanted and he was going to buy it. I said I was happy to buy it for myself, but he insisted and said he'd sort it out. I was thankful and said, okay. After we returned home, I asked about the bracelet, and he said he was going to give it to me later, maybe for my birthday. I was annoyed because I wanted to buy the bracelet and wear it immediately, and that's what I would have done if he hadn't bought it. He said he paid for it, and that was a nice thing for him to do. I agreed but said if he kept it, then it felt like he took it from me and was making me wait to get something that I was prepared to pay for myself. We had a low-level fight about it, after which he said I could just have it right then. But I said I didn't even really want it anymore because now every time I wear it, I will think about this argument and the whole gesture feels ruined. He accused me of being ungrateful. We recounted this story to his friends and they all agreed that he paid for it. So I should just be happy. But I feel like if he wanted to pay for a gift that I had picked out and was about to purchase myself, then it's not fair to make me wait months for it. Am I the asshole for being upset about him keeping it and not wanting to wear the bracelet anymore? He did give me the bracelet right after the discussion, but as you can imagine, it wasn't as happy a moment as anyone imagined. I was almost in tears from trying and failing to explain my point of view, and he was also feeling frustrated. I think you are not in the wrong here. It feels like a strange power play by your husband. Offering to buy something and then putting conditions on it is not really a gift. Honestly, just go out and buy yourself a different bracelet and wear it with pride. Am I the jerk for not being the bigger person for once? Hi everyone. My brother told me to post here to get an unbiased opinion on whether I was wrong in this situation. He is on my side, but my parents and father's side of the family think I went too far. I am not racist, nor do I think better of myself for being mixed. I just got tired of my cousin's constant racial remarks towards my Indian side. Growing up, my cousins on my father's side would bully me and my siblings for being half Indian, calling us ugly, stinky, mocking my mother's beliefs and accent, and saying Indians are the most unwanted people on earth. My father always defended us. I love being black and I'm proud of it, but I hate my father's side of the family for hating my Indian side. My 24-year-old cousin Sarah continues this behavior today, brushing it off as teasing. Every time I see her, she mocks my Indian culture and then claims she is joking. She defends herself by saying Indians are always racist to black people, and I will never know what that is like. She believes biracial people will never understand being fully black and have no right to certain parts of black culture. We used to argue about this all the time, and she uses my engagement with my Indian culture as proof I am not with the culture. Every time I defend myself, my parents and siblings tell me to be the bigger person. I have tried to avoid her. Recently, we helped my cousin on my mother's side with her elaborate Indian wedding, and it was beautiful. Sarah is also getting married this summer. We were not as involved in her planning, which angered her. After my cousin's wedding, she sent me long texts accusing me of being biased towards my Indian side and never loving my father's side of the family. I replied with the I am not reading all that meme. I have heard it all before, I do not need to hear it again. This triggered her, and she sent racist slurs, calling me half black, half ugly, and saying Indian women are the ugliest group of women and the world would be better off without Indian people. I replied, but whose hair are you wearing on your head right now? And took screenshots of her messages before blocking her. Sarah often wears sew-in weaves and jokes about the hair being from my people. I know black women have a complicated relationship with their hair, and what I said hurt her. She told her parents, who told mine, and they lectured me about being the bigger person. I showed them the screenshots, and they understood but still want me to apologize. I told them I am not apologizing until she does. I know it is immature, but my cousins have always been like this, and I am tired of defending myself and always having to be the bigger person. I am just so tired of my father's side of the family constantly demeaning me and my Indian culture. I know I should not have said what I said, but now that I stoop to her level, I hope she can see how it feels. Am I the asshole? You are not the jerk. It's a fire with fire situation, and after years of her abhorrently racist behavior, it's hard to blame you for snapping. Her words and behavior have been abhorrent, and it's beyond comprehension why it wasn't shut down years ago. Blocking her and avoiding her seemed like the best course of action. She is a bully, and there's no reason to tolerate her racist energy in your life. Would I be the asshole if I don't go to my friend's wedding? A family friend of mine, let's call her Kathy, is getting married in a few months. Her parents and my parents have been friends since college, and Kathy and I are the same age, so we basically grew up together. We were really close as children and teenagers. As adults, we now live in different states, so we aren't as close as we used to be, but I still consider her a close friend because of our history. It is one of those friendships where we don't see or talk to each other very often, but when we do get together, it's like nothing ever changed. I am in a serious 5-year-long relationship with my boyfriend. We have lived together for 4 out of 5 years, so we're more or less a married couple without the status. We have also talked about getting engaged in the near future. Kathy and the rest of her family have met my boyfriend on several occasions, so I assumed it was a no-brainer that he would be invited to the wedding. However, I assumed wrong. We got the wedding invitation and it was addressed to my whole family, parents, sister, and myself, but my boyfriend's name was nowhere on the invitation. It didn't even say +1 or anything to include my boyfriend. Kathy's whole family knows very well that I am in a serious relationship, and the fact that he was not invited to the wedding feels rude and disrespectful. I am totally put off and debating not going to the wedding. I expressed this to my mother, and she thinks I'm overreacting. She made the excuse that it's probably just a numbers thing and not to take it personally. In my opinion, it is personal. I'm not just an acquaintance. I've literally known Kathy and her family my whole life. Additionally, I'm not just casually dating someone. We've been together for 5 years. Kathy is essentially asking me to come celebrate her relationship while completely disregarding mine. Am I overreacting? And would I be the asshole if I skip Kathy's wedding? How do you know Kathy is aware that you and your boyfriend are still together? You say that you barely talk to her. Before you outright decide to ditch, give her a call and just talk to her about it. If she insists because you aren't even engaged or something along those lines, then I'd probably just send a card and a bottle of congratulatory wine with my regrets. Many people limit attendance due to costs by not allowing ones, especially for people who aren't family or very close. Am I the jerk for not eating the dinner my boyfriend's mom made? I feel like I'm going crazy, so I just need to ask other people for their opinions. Today, my boyfriend and I had plans to hang out after I got off of work. He had told me last night that we would go get poke bowls for dinner together. We even talked about getting sweet treats from the poke place. Today, he called his mother and let her know we'd be at their place around 6:30. I thought that she was just going to go with us. This isn't unusual because he lives with his parents, and she went with us last time. We get to his house and are hanging out at the table when his mother starts setting out this big charcuterie board of cheese, meats, berries, bread, and crackers. I assume they must be having company, and these are the appetizers until a dinner plate gets placed before me, and his mother and father sit down with us and ask my boyfriend to get his sister for dinner. I realize we're not having poke for dinner, and I try to contain my discontent, but I have a really hard time doing that because I tend to show my emotions on my face. I'd been under the impression since yesterday that we were going to be going for poke, and I was looking forward to it. I had a long day at work kayaking and swimming. I also recently found out I have a gluten sensitivity, so the only things on the platter I would be able to eat would be the meat and cheese slices and the berries. My boyfriend asks me what's wrong, and I whisper to him that it just wasn't what I was expecting. He loudly asks me why, and now his parents are listening, so I just explained that he said yesterday we would get poke and that I'd been looking forward to it. He says it's okay, let's just go get that. I say it's fine, we can eat this, but he insists. We go outside, and I can tell he's upset. I stop him and ask if he really wants to go because it's fine. I can eat that, it's no big deal. He says yes, let's just go, we're already outside. Then he says it was rude of me to just get up and leave, and that I should apologize to his mother. I try to say that he said it was fine, and we could go get poke, and he said this was what he wanted to do too. I feel like I got put in an uncomfortable position where he urged us to just go, then blamed it on me when we actually went. I apologized to his mother for leaving when we got back, and all she said was to have better communication with my boyfriend next time. Am I in the wrong here? You handled things appropriately. He switched up plans without speaking with you about it and then acted all huffy when you understandably felt caught off guard. It's really weird and rude of him to get mad at you for expressing that and then pushing you to leave. He was the rude one for loudly speaking and then getting up and leaving. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.